All right, it's your boy Spank Dog, aka Puffinstein at YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You already know. Let's get into it. All right, first of all, I hope all of you guys had a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. And just I hope everybody's doing good. We're gonna jump right into it. So first of all, let's take it to the man cave. The internet is magic. All right. So, yeah, like I said, I'm trying to put a little thought into the backgrounds now. And like I said, I really want people to be able to come into the live and just relax. You know what I'm saying? Like just be able to chill. You know what I'm saying? Drop comments, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? And just, positive vibe. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like I said, we really gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna bring up the first topic. It's gonna be 4 topics today. It's gonna be 4 segments. The first one's gonna be about Leslie Jones. I believe that's the comedian's name, and she's the female from Ghostbusters. And she recently spoke about how crazy politics are right now. And when I say that, I try to be somewhat impartial, but at the same time picking a side. There's no, I'm not worried like that. The one thing I worry about is YouTube getting mad at me because then I can't speak no more. They take my voice. So whatever I gotta do, not whatever. You get what I'm saying? There ain't no selling your soul here. But pretty much what I gotta do to keep things good with monetization and not getting strikes and stuff like that. That's what gotta go down for now. And like I said though, not to the degree of doing some sucker stuff, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm gonna bring up the video right now. And she keeps it official, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Leslie Jones keeps it official, you know. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let her get her groove on, and then I'll comment as she speaks. You know what I'm saying? Here goes the video right here. She kills it. She keeps it mad thorough. That's it. She just tells the truth. And I'll let her take it from here. Big shout out to Rick Strom and the Young Turks. You already know what it is. Like I said, certain channels, I love certain channels, and there's certain things that they hit on that I want to talk about also. And, I end up like speaking on topics that I'm on the same page with them on. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna take a look at Leslie Jones going in, keeping it really, really honest. Oh, let me full screen it. Like I said, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Good morning to everybody out there. Keep it positive. Don't let no curveballs mess your day up. Don't let nobody saying no dumb stuff mess your day up. Keep your composure. I know how that goes. Curveballs are crazy. And then some people are just idiots. You know what I'm saying? So back on a positive note, let's listen to Leslie Jones go in. Again, big shout out to Rick Strom and the Young Turks, everybody else, Dr. Rashad Ritchie, the whole team. Big shout out to Adam Makla, and everybody else that I mess with.
Yeah, is there something incriminating in the file, sir? Why not take us in?
As we all know and saw, this was despicable by the president. While the press is rather mute on the subject,
he's calling female reporters piggy and stupid and dumb and insubordinate.
I don't understand how these people let that. I don't mean no harm. If he would have said, shut up, piggy to me, I'd have been like, you fat yourself,
Right.
you stinking bastard.
That's
You
right.
wouldn't be able to talk to me like that. Who you calling piggy, you fat?
That's right. You know what's funny?
Or she walked in on, I mean, like, how are y'all not losing?
I don't think she cursed the whole way through. I think they did it as like an effect to like make it sound like every single thing was a curse.
Your that? He called a woman picky. If Obama did that, Biden did that, they
lose their mind. Look, I think
they would have dragged.
I just said that I gotta be careful when I go on YouTube. I even gotta keep it professional. And when I say I even, meaning like, like I said, I've been out there for a minute when I was young, and like I've changed and stuff, but still, like I'm saying, I use Ebonics at 49 years old, no problem. And I still wouldn't do that, especially if I'm doing something that's my career. I'm not gonna do that. And I don't even mean to laugh. It's more so, and I'm not uptight, so you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really what he does that makes me crazy, even though that's still disgusting, you know what I'm saying? But, it's the other things he does, the worser things,
Drag Obama out to the yard and executed him right there with some of the stuff that he does.
Comedian Leslie Jones is anything but.
What's happening to our country is being poisoned, and your schools and your children are suffering greatly because they're going into the classrooms, they're taking the seats, and they don't even speak English. It's crazy. And we have our people that aren't going into a classroom. We have students that were there last year. They're not allowed into the school this year. They're not allowed. It's crazy.
Pure, unadulterated racism from.
There's nothing wrong with people who don't speak English going to school. This guy's losing his mind, and they're not taking seats from other kids. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something. Even if somebody else was trying to, at least, if somebody was telling me something and it wasn't him, it would be easier to listen to, because the hypocrisy that's already come along with him, the lies, just the disgustingness, I can't really listen to him. You get what I'm saying? If I heard him say something that let me, that I could realize he was actually changing, which would never happen, but that's different. But it would have to be coming out somebody else's mouth. I would never trust him.
The president of the United States of America.
How are we repeating the worst part of history?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Ronald Reagan saying that he's a Nazi?
No.
Can you imagine?
Or saying bad things about immigrants. Ronald Reagan is the last president of either party to do amnesty.
I'm just trying to figure out, because I feel like there's a group of people that's like, yeah, the government needs to be changed, and Trump knows how to handle business. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when he first said he was gonna run for president, I was like, oh, well, I mean, he's a good businessman. You know what I was thinking about?
That's what a lot of people thought that.
I was thinking about that movie where they got the regular guy. I forgot what the name of that movie.
Dave, I love that movie.
Well, I feel like you should be able to be a politician or a judge if you have that type of. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand Republicans. I remember being in this church.
It has to do with personalities, who you are mentally. It has to do with a lot of things. Just because a man is good at business doesn't mean he's going to be a good politician. Nothing automatically translates.
It was a Republican church. And I remember this dude coming up to me because I had made a face at something that the pastor had said. And I was like, why would he say this in the pulpit? You're not supposed to say stuff like that. Like the way that they use Jesus. I was like, Jesus would never talk to none of y'all. It's like crazy. And this guy came up to me and he was like, maybe you just don't understand what Republicans are. We earn our money and we feel like we should be able to keep our money. We shouldn't have to take care of anyone else.
Listen, let's get this straight. If a person has enough money where they can help somebody and it wouldn't alter their lives in a negative way, that's a definite. Well, first of all, it's on the individual. If they want to help, that's what it is. But I'm just saying, from my point of view, if a person has an excess and they want to help somebody, you know what I'm saying? That's on them. And that's the first thing. There's no forcing. But for a person to say, yeah, I'm gonna help because I have an excess, to me, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? And she's about to echo that sentiment. She's about to say the same exact thing. Well, not exact thing, but in so many words, that's what she's saying. You know,
Everyone should be able to take care of themselves. He is saying this inside of a church. So I was like, I just remember saying, is Jesus a Republican? I was like, this is bad. This is really bad. Like, it's scary. We are repeating the worst part of history. We should have flying cars right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We should have breathable air. We should have all kinds of stuff going on. And it's scary how behind we are.
Not bad, but go further. Let me hear critiques on capitalism and billionaires, etc.
I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am.
This man is going to say that he owes everything to his woman acting like a female, like, because she cooks and she cleans and she hits the bedroom when he tells her to, that's why he is what he is. It's crazy. You know, people are independent. It's not, you know, I understand. I have a wife of 25 years. I think I know a little something about relationships. You know, whoever he's talking about right now, let's see if he's with her in 10 years. And I'm not even wishing that something bad happens. I'm just telling you, there's a chance they're not together in 10 years. I've been with my wife for 25 years. I know what it takes to build a relationship and stay in a relationship. You got to let people be free. I don't touch her phone. I've never touched her phone. If she wanted to work, she could work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and like I said, I don't have a problem with him having preferences or beliefs, but it's if you push them on people. That's even like right now, what I'm talking about is how I feel. I'm not twisting anybody's arms to join sides with me in my views. You know, that's up to the person.
Because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
The disgusting misogyny from the right.
You know, it's so interesting because I lived in Manhattan for a while and I loved this city. I'm going to come at this from a female voter.
I don't like getting on her because her husband just got unalived, but you know, she be wilding. I don't agree with anything that she says, and she sounds crazy sometimes, but I'm gonna let it play.
Because a high percentage of his voters were female. I think there's a tendency, especially when you live in a city like Manhattan, where, again, you are so career driven and you almost look to the government as a form of replacement for certain things.
And just how much they hate women when someone like this owes everything she has to feminism is truly a sight to behold.
I feel like
You talk about play the role, but then you capitalize on the fact that women are liberated today.
it's repeating. You know, when you don't learn your lesson, the lesson comes back again. So we didn't solve this the first time. Racism is a big thing. You know, we haven't solved that. We haven't solved misogynistic stuff. Like some of the stuff I hear men say, I said, do you not ever want to have sex with a woman again? Because who is listening to you and still being with you?
Do you think that if someone is with you and you have a daughter, do you want someone to talk to her like that?
Girl, when I did Ghostbusters, I could not believe some of the stuff because it's very stupid for a man to tell us, oh, women can't be Ghostbusters, and then have your daughter's picture on your profile. So if your daughter came up to you and said, I want to be a Ghostbuster, you would tell her to her face that she couldn't be a Ghostbuster because she's a girl? My dad never said that stuff to me. My dad was like, you could be whatever you want as long as you work hard and learn how to do what it is you want to do. Don't let nobody tell you because you're a woman or because you're black, You can't do it. He would tell me that every day. I don't understand parents that don't tell their children that. I don't understand that. And how are you raising your daughter? How are you raising your daughter? You raising your
son,
especially when people use religion. So it's very obvious that you don't want us to make our own money because you want us to be trapped at home, because he thinks women are stupid enough to go, oh, I'm gonna just be trapped at home and have babies. What's wrong with you?
I mean, if a woman wants to, like, if a woman is like, you know, she's just, that's the way she wants to live and it makes her happy, that's different. But if you got a lady that wants to be independent and she wants to capitalize on being liberated and not, you know, the old-fashioned point of views, come on, man. Like, think about your daughters, think about your sisters, think about your mothers. What would their lives have been like if they were just naturally independent and forced to be, you know, dependent on a man, even though it's in their nature to just be, you know, free. You get what I'm saying? Some women like that security, but there's other women that want to be able to do what they want to do, and they shouldn't be oppressed because there's, you know, some guy out there that thinks she should be what they call a traditional woman, and you're going to force her, you're going to abuse her. You know what I'm saying?
The men that are like, oh, well, if you were a good girl and just stayed home, did your mama stay home? Because my mama didn't stay home. My mama had 2 jobs.
But then what makes women go along with that?
Girl, I don't know many women that do, but I do know women that, and this is my thing. There are women that go for that. Go for them. Go get them.
Yeah.
But you don't want them. You want us. You know why?
Right.
Because we're valuable. You know, I can make my own money. I can think.
And we threaten that way.
Oh my God, we threaten it like because you can't control someone who has critical thinking.
Jones is absolutely right on all fronts. In the comedy scene,
does a trans person existing affect you in any way?
Yo, this lady is bugged out. Yo, listen. You know, much respect to the lady. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to like down anybody that I've never met before like that. I gotta keep it non-judgmental. This one is hard.
When they're shoving it.
You know, listen, she, you know, like I said, she's free to think how she wants. It's just how she comes off. She just comes off like she's miserable. And like I said, I'm not hating on her or whatever. Like I said, she's free to think how she wants to think. But first of all, I don't agree with her. Second of all, she comes off like she's not happy.
It down our throats. Yes, it does.
How are they shoving it down your throats?
And she comes off like she's very mean. And not only that, and like still, let me tell you something. If I met her in real life, you know what I'm saying? There's a chance that I would be all right with her, beyond all right. Like, you know, I got a lot of respect for people, for individuals, even if I don't agree with their way of thinking. As long they see there's a difference between us being on the same page and me considering you somebody that I would want to like really like tangle with. You get what I'm saying? And she doesn't fit the criteria. You know, not many people do. You got to be a real piece of, you got to be really something else for me to want to tangle with you. So anyway, at the end, the guy realizes that like, you know, she's not noticing something, and he plays on it, and he makes a little joke, and he crushes it. She doesn't even realize that there is a day for Christ. It's called Christmas.
Trans Day of Visibility, for example, on a High Holy Day.
That was just happened to be on
March
30th. It's that day every single year. It wasn't specifically because it was Easter. That's just the day it always is.
I stand by what I said.
And Donald Trump was saying a Christian. He wants to have a Christian Visibility Day. Would you like that?
Sure.
Christian Visibility Day. Do you think there should be like a national holiday just for Christians?
Why not?
You think that would be a welcome change for the country?
Absolutely.
Big New York.
What would be a good day for that?
Never really thought about that.
Maybe like December 25th.
While the good liars check many in the streets of America.
That's why I'm not understanding. People know what Trump is. Why are y'all not calling that out?
Go ahead, tell them,
and
Leslie.
then too, the people that are jumping on the bandwagon, we're gonna remember you.
Yeah, like we can see you.
And listen, this has really affected even comedy. Like, there's a lot of clubs I don't do anymore because they have MAGA bookers now.
She gets.
It's like, let me.
She gets to the point where she's just like, yo, how could people be like that? And yo, it's on, like, it's a real thing. Like, yo, how could you stand to be like that? There's times where I get annoyed. Well, you know, as of recently, I've had as I go through life, I have epiphanies. You get what I'm saying? I don't stay the same. I evolve. You know, so what I might have done the other day, I don't do it the next day all the time. And I'm not really trying to get not only in a bad mood, stay in a bad mood. Like the lady that has the America flag on and everything, she looks like she's mad all the time. She looks like she don't know how to snap out of her anger. She just, you know, and if she's blaming it on things like what she was talking about or whatever, she's wilding. Let me tell you something. What she said, I think she said something about trans. That's not what's messing your life up, lady. It's your viewpoint, the way you're approaching things. You know what I'm saying? I'm on it like that. I don't give a shit if people don't like what I say. Like, I really, you know, I care if, you know, of course, if I do well or not, but to a certain degree. Like, at the end of it all, you got to speak. You got to say who you are. You got to let people know why you're doing what you're doing. And if they don't like it, like, leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here on some, we got to do better shit. And that's what this is all about. Now, if you're not with that, then you already know, man. Tell your story walking, man. You know, ease on down the road.
Explain something to y'all. That is not going to last. And we, and the people that perform it, we're going to remember you. Because when it changed back and you're calling us, I'm not coming to your club.
Leslie Jones gives the tea on Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and the effect of Donald Trump plus MAGA politics in their respective industry. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can,
big shout out to Rick Strong, man. Let me finish.
Please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition,
yo, big shout out to TYT. Big shout out to Rick Strong, Dr. Rashad Ritchie. I believe the other lady's name is Sharon Reed, Anna. Man, all of them over there. There's dudes there that they bring on. I wish I knew all of their names by heart. There's ladies that they bring on. I wish I knew their name by heart. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna stop this one. We're gonna get to the next one. I know people don't have tons of time. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, let me share the next channel. The next one starts off with aliens. It's those flying squids that, you know, I find them so intriguing, so interesting. That doesn't mean that that they exist, but you know, still, to me, it's just crazy. It just looks crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't believe in them. I don't not believe in them. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's good. The stuff that's coming up next is real good. Trust me. Stick around. All right. Let me full screen it real quick. All right, let's get right into it.
So we definitely have quite a few things to talk about today. For example, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has done something that's going to invade our privacy to the extreme. And then we have Trump saying something that's really raising a lot of eyebrows, more so than ever before. But before we get into any of that and more, I was tagged in this on X, and this is possibly the clearest image of these black flying things we have ever seen. These black flying things we have been seeing in the sky since the April 8th solar eclipse. And this individual, UAP Luigi, says, I was taking my flight from Munich to Hamburg this morning.
I've been covering them for so long. I've talked about the flying squids for like a year and a half now. This is like the fourth video I've done where I talk about them. I find it so interesting, even though I don't believe in them 100%. You know, I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're not real. I don't know if people are playing tricks, but it's just crazy.
Morning at 7 a.m. and saw two objects which I thought were black birds in the beginning, but then they were moving in a strange way. Then I did these pictures and was shocked. The stewardess was shocked as well and brought me to the captain, which was also confused. Can anybody explain this? This is so scary. And yes, this is what we have been seeing with them. They do move in a very strange way, but look at it. I can't really explain it. And I really feel like those octopus kites were designed after these things to give an excuse. The only really thing you can say they look like outside of those octopus kites are what.
Yeah, like why nobody talked about those before? Like I've been talking about these things for a while, and so have other people. Certain people that are into this type of stuff, they've been noticing they were over the California fires. You know, I think they're called the LA fires. You know, the Hollywood Hills fires. I forget the exact title of the fires, but everybody knows what fires I'm talking about, and they were there that day too. Now, who knows what they are, but they definitely are not those flying balloons. Those balloons can't do what these things do. They go fast, you know. And like I said, I don't know if it's a projection of some sort. You get what I'm saying? Like literally, a lot of people have this thing in their head where they think you can't create a projection that looks this realistic, but in this day and age, technology can make things like that look like they're there and they're not, you know. And just because you see something up there and it looks like it's there, like it's solid, that doesn't mean it's not some sort of projection or whatever. Just keep that in mind. It's not solid evidence, you seeing something up in the sky, especially in this day and age.
What we are shown in movies like Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, what's another one? Harry Potter, The Dementors. And they even look like those black things in that movie Ghost that took the bad people away. But what's eerie is that this person saw them too. They commented on this post with their photos, this individual, Andrew Porter, and he goes on to say, saw this object changing shapes, moving and stopping out the window on my flight out of Norfolk, Virginia to Minneapolis. Look at this one. It looks like it has arms stretching out, and this is what reminds me of those black spirits from that movie Ghost. Somebody had linked this article that goes back to February 22nd, 2024. It says mysterious alien object seen flying in Central California, and this was actually shown on the news. But what I find interesting is what they say right here. Observers have been quick to draw comparisons to the tentacle-like appendages seen in science fiction films like Arrival and War of the Worlds. Why I find that to be interesting, on one of my most recent videos on Seconds of Horror, I said just that. I used Arrival as an example when it came to Steven Spielberg's movie. This is what I said. I want to go ahead and talk about as well. It has to do with Steven Spielberg's latest movie called Disclosure Day a few days ago. The trailer came out, and supposedly it has to do about aliens and UFOs. Now, it would seem like birds play an important role in this movie. In a couple scenes, we're shown birds, but also in the poster, we're shown a bird and the one-eyed symbolism inside a bird. One of the main characters becomes possessed, and she starts to make this noise, which many people believe may be the sound of the alien.
Let's. Today is.
I gotta see this.
Today's.
She's a good actress too. Emily Blunt.
And I find it very odd because, and it really goes to show who's giving these people these scripts, because there was another movie back in 2016 called Arrival, and it had to do about quote-unquote aliens.
I don't like
But the noise the woman is making in Steven Spielberg's movie sounds very similar to the noise that these aliens in this movie are making, a clicking sound.
They are going to interrogate you.
What's also even more interesting is that
that one wasn't as good for me as the one that's coming up, the one Begonia, the one with I forget her name, Emma Stone. Oh, that looks so good. Yo, listen, man, like, comment, share, subscribe, drop a comment about what you're seeing. And definitely always feel relaxed when you come through.
the bird also played an important role in this movie as well, because it was used to test atmospheric conditions, but also the sensitivity of language between nature and the alien communication, and it was also used as a foreshadow. What I also found interesting about the movie Arrival is that from time to time we would always see these black rings, these black smoke rings popping up in certain locations, and they would be on the news. And the thing is, they would try to say, oh, that's just exhaust from a truck or a transformer had blown. They would never show or track the source. It was always just a theory. But if it was just that, why would they always show it on the news? And these black rings are very similar. Matter of fact, they look exactly like these black rings that are shown in the movie. And these black rings are the communication used by these quote unquote aliens. So,
like I said, you got to be careful, man. You never know if they want you to believe something that's not real, you know. Always keep that in mind. You know, solid evidence is solid evidence. So like I said, you know, just don't buy into something until you know for certain. People are always trying to trick people. Not everybody, of course, you know, but there's certain people out there that their whole goal is to make you believe something that's not what they say it is. You know what I mean?
So again, it's very telling where these directors are getting this information from, because this is just way too similar. And yes, what was shown by Steven Spielberg was just a trailer, but even so, just looking at the trailer by itself and then going back to the movie The Arrival, you would think that trailer was for the sequel to the movie.
I gotta watch it again.
The Arrival. This is just more conditioning people about aliens, getting people used to the idea of aliens, they exist, their arrival. Perhaps even getting people used to the idea that people that are among us, like I said in my other video, 1 billion plus people are not even real people. They're probably something else altogether. Think reptiles and things like that. And talking about Project Bluebeam, these are the things also we will be seeing during Project Bluebeam. What's going to kick everything off by 2030, this whole one world agenda. These,
you know, that's what I meant about Project Bluebeam. At first, you know, I didn't understand the concept 100%, but I knew that they were saying, you know, whatever was said about Project Bluebeam was letting people know not to believe everything you hear. So that's what woke me up, you know what I'm saying, to not, you know, because there was so much stuff at the time about, you know, aliens and stuff that you could easily be on some like, oh, they're here, if you weren't thinking, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, after thinking about it, it's like, yo, don't just because something's on TV don't mean that it's legit. You know what I'm saying?
These creatures, they are not fake. The lie happens to be that they are aliens from another planet, planet 33, that's 33,000 light years away. That's the lie. These are things that have always been here, entities. I do want to go ahead and pause right here because this is concept art from the movie Arrival. You can find it on their website. And this eerily reminds me of this photo right here this individual had taken on his plane. Things crossing over from CERN, fallen ones, what they have been creating and working with in these deep underground military bases. These are the things that will be released.
I told you guys about CERN before, and the Hadron Collider and the Ice Cube neutrino detector.
I just find it so weird that article references the movie Arrival when referencing these things. And again, it's just so obvious that Hollywood is giving us the truth in plain sight in these movies. And of course, in that video, when I say aliens, I say quote unquote aliens, because these are not things coming from another planet. They're either interdimensional crossed over from something CERN had done, or the veil is thinning, or these things have always been here and they're making themselves more known. I don't know. but they are being seen more and more. And it seems like they're being either chased by helicopters or being guided by helicopters.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, even though I don't know what to believe, it's still super interesting.
Lately. This first news story is wild and is coming out of Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court has ruled that police do not need to obtain a warrant to arrest you based off your Google searches. Let's say, for example, you're driving past a certain location, you see a lot of police surrounding that location, that address, you become nosy, you search the internet, you search that address to see what happened. It has not hit the news yet. Well, the police, they can use that search against you and question you and take you in to see if you were connected to that crime. The police had already done this. This man committed a horrible crime. The police could not find this man. And so they reached out to Google to see if they could find anybody that was searching this specific address within a week's time. And Google, they went ahead and gave up that information. And the police were able to find this man and arrest him. But here's what's weird. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, they are using this specific case as an excuse to connect people to crimes based off their internet searches without a warrant. This individual, John...
Man, that's not good. You know, like I said, man, you know, if you taking somebody that's really bad off the streets, that's understandable. But still, the method, you can't, you know, the ends doesn't justify the means.
Edward Kurtz, he broke into someone's home and assaulted them sexually, and based off his Google search, police were able to charge him with a crime, and he wouldn't be able to do this again. But here's the thing. Police actually did obtain a warrant. They obtained a reverse keyword search warrant from Google. So again, this wasn't a warrantless search. But even though they got this warrant, it didn't matter because it goes on to say that the majority held that entering a query into Google willingly voluntarily turns over the contents of the search to third parties and therefore negates any constitutionally recognized privacy interest in those search records. So they're basically saying because Google goes ahead and gives your data to third parties, your searches and so forth, it's up for grabs for anybody to use, even police and the courts. That statement is coming from the Pennsylvania courts, but here's the problem. Google's privacy in terms says Google may share information about you with advertisers, business partners, sponsors, and other third parties. However, we only divulge aggregate information about our users and will not share personally identifiable information with any third party without your express consent. This is what the courts are twisting. And so now, yet for whatever reason, on December 16th, the Supreme Court says the police, they do not need a warrant to gather information on what people are searching. Now, this article and other articles are saying Google, but the Supreme Court said the internet as a whole, because what they said was, in its opinion, the court said that internet users making searches have no reasonable right to privacy because it is common knowledge that websites, internet-based applications, and internet service providers collect and then sell user data. So the Supreme Court is using this particular case,
yeah, that's no good,
as a scapegoat to invade your privacy, which again doesn't make any sense because in this case they still obtained a warrant. But they are using this particular case to invade your privacy and connect you to
the point where you can't do anything, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean illegal. I'm talking about just like, you know, you can't be private at all, like, you know, unless you're fucking in a corner, you know, in your own room, you know what I'm saying?
Any crime they deem fit based off what you're searching on the internet. Now, again, just to make it clear, this is only in Pennsylvania, but as the article continues to say, the case only creates legal precedent in Pennsylvania, but an expert predicted that the ruling will lead more police departments to feel confident about warrantless searches for internet queries. Andrew Ferguson, a law professor at George Washington University, was quoted as saying, "If a rather progressive state like Pennsylvania gives the green light to warrantless collection of your search queries, I think it's fair to say that is going to open up its use across the nation." But here's the thing, people still do not understand. It doesn't matter if it's a traditionally blue state, traditionally red state, does not matter. All these states are coming together for a complete AI nanny state of
Yeah, it was too much, man. Mind your business. Like, you know, you got to leave people alone eventually.
police surveillance to take away privacy. I just made a video that not too long ago over in Texas, they are equipping trash trucks with data surveillance cameras using Wi-Fi, And they said, well, we're going to go ahead and
now it's just about collecting data. It's not about catching somebody who hurt somebody, hurt somebody badly or took their life. You know what I'm saying?
Censor out people and homes. We're just going to go ahead and monitor anybody illegally dumping. I mean, does anybody honestly believe that? But to charge people with a crime based off their internet searches before any other proof had come out without a warrant is basically dog crime. It's the Minority Report. But this is nothing. Mark my words. We're going to come to a time, perhaps less than 10 years, I don't know, where they're even going to use our own thoughts against us, use our own thoughts to connect us to a crime. I mean, actually read our minds. They had already admitted to doing so. They have already admitted they have the technology. We can see it with the...
You know what it is? The technology is so wild. Like, that quantum shit is crazy. It's like magic. Like, they're going to be able to amplify computing by so many times. It's going to be crazy. AI is going to be crazy. Like the whole, reading the Da Vinci Code and being able to crack it and all that type of stuff. It's going to get bizarre, and it's not okay for them to be able to look through walls. And just because they can do it, they do a X-ray vision through your wall and look at everything that's going on. Like, and who knows what kind of technology they got already that they're utilizing before they release it.
Algorithms, the AI reading our minds, but they're going to officially come out and have a Supreme Court ruling that they can use our own thoughts to convict us of a crime, like what we saw full-blown Minority Report.
Every camera you walk past that is integrated with AI systems increasingly can decode mental states.
There's some really interesting research that we can plant false memories in the brain. People believing that they've been at Disney World with characters who are not Disney characters, taking photographs with those characters.
Those products are hitting the market this year. What they will be capable of doing is very high-level brain state reading. Things like, are you tired? Are you paying attention? Is your mind wandering? Are you happy or sad?
Oh, I forgot to mention, I got the next hoodie on. Is this number 7? This is the 6th live and the 6th hoodie that I wore. So I completed the challenge. I still got I got one more hoodie left, I think. I don't know what I'm gonna do to keep it going after the 7th hoodie. But this is hoodie challenge day 6. I got my hoodie on. It's different. As you can see, it's not one that I wore before. And yeah, that's it. The challenge is still going. Hopefully on day 8, when I run out of the last hoodie, I could figure something out. I didn't want it to be where I copped the hoodie just to keep the challenge going, but you never know.
Bad.
One of the emerging areas that's really interesting in law neuroscience is pain detection. And once we understand the circuitries that cause pain, I guess the question is, could we then instill pain and use that in many
I don't think people realize that it's gotten to the point where they're going to be able to cure certain diseases. Technology is going to, it hit a jumping stage. People, I don't know if people understand, like, the evolution of technology is going to be super fast paced for a second. And with great power comes great responsibility, and I mean, like, the people, that's why people need to worry about who's in charge, because a lot of power is coming, greater power than we've ever seen. And you guys are letting the wrong people be in charge when it's gonna arrive. That much power should be in the hands of somebody good-hearted, good-natured, not some evil rich creep. Not saying who that is. You get what I'm saying? I didn't say no names. Sometimes even with the people that are out there, I don't know them like that. So I try, like, to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But what do you want me to do when it's obvious you're a piece of crap? You want me to pretend? You want me to pretend like you're not a piece of crap? Like, let me tell you something. This channel will never be not about something serious. You might say like, you know, you gotta jazz it up or like throw something action packed in there, whatever. But at least the channel is on some honor. The show has a code, you know, just like every person in the world should have some sort of code that they won't break, you know, moral values. You know what I'm saying?
Coercive measures in the legal system as well. We can pick up and decode faces that you're seeing in your mind. Simple shapes, numbers, your PIN number to your bank account.
This is currently happening in other
Put a
countries
comment.
over in Europe.
People are outraged after supermarkets are now using facial recognition cameras.
Big shout out to Minutes of Horror. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I come on, I don't want to sound like a parrot, but you know it's true. The channels that I watch with you guys, they mean a lot to me. The channels, they're really that good. I expect you people to be like, you know, wow, like he wants to talk about something important. You know, like these are like Minutes of Horror. This channel in particular. It's, you know, it's a variety of stories and reports. So, you know, this one isn't as serious as politics. Like when I talk about sports, which is coming up in a second about Draymond Green, you know what I'm saying? And like I don't like, you know, he's the villain, Draymond Green, but I don't want to badmouth him. Just like because everybody else is. He's a human being, but he be playing a lot, be playing too much.
Cameras to detect your behavior, name, and even age. Check this out. Here's an example of how it works. Essentially, it will pick up your face and then it will give you an estimate of your race, your age, and even your height, and so forth. So here's an example. As you can see, this man is stood here. It's giving a rough estimate of his age, somewhere around 30, early 30s. It's giving his race, emotion on his face. So as you can see, the emotion is neutral. And then this one has an emotion of angry or fearful, which is absolutely wild.
I didn't see this video. And I was just talking about how crazy technology is. Look at what's going on right now. AI has the facial scan locked. And since it's locked, it's able to bring up that data on everybody whose face is locked. That's crazy.
So supermarkets are now using these kind of special AI technology and facial recognition cameras to detect any unusual suspicious behavior. And essentially what their plans are is to maybe detect shoplifters. Maybe if someone walks in looking a little bit nervous, they're going to take items from the shelves. Now, I want to see what you guys think about this. How do you feel about this?
That's too much. I'll tell you how I feel about it right now. That's too much. Big shout out to the guy breaking this down for us right now. I don't feel good. It's too much. Too much.
Because a lot of people in the original video of this basically aren't too happy with it because they're saying, you know, I don't want this facial recognition camera on me. I feel a little bit awkward about it. I don't want, you know, these AI systems detecting who I could be or my name and age and so forth. But let me know what you think about
it. Is only a matter of time they do this in the United States. And when I say that, I mean they're already doing this, but it's only going to be a matter of time when they officially let us know they're doing it.
That's
and talking about more spying, apparently Texas is suing smart TV makers for spying on people's watch habits. This article goes on to say that the Texas Attorney General has launched a lawsuit against 5 major smart TV manufacturers, Sony, Samsung, LG, Hisense, and TCL, over their use of automated content recognition, or ACR, which is enabled by default on most, if not all, smart TVs, in which the TV will periodically take screenshots of whatever is currently being displayed and identify the content being watched. Like most privacy invasive technologies, this is used for things like targeted advertising and content recommendations, and is usually part of aggregate data as well. According to the Texas AG's lawsuit, these manufacturers take said.
Some people are like, what could you do with that data? It's so minor, detailed. No, the collection of data has become crazy. It's because the computing has become so fast. That's what I'm telling you guys, man. The power that's coming with technology, it's got to be in the right hands, man. People got to start taking the voting thing serious. I'm a first-time voter, and I'm proud of it. I did a video, you know what I'm saying, on my first time vote, and you guys could watch the videos.
screenshots as often as every half second. And you have to think, when it comes to these smart TVs, people are not just watching TV programs, but they hook up all their apps to this. They cast their phones to this. They hook up their computers to this. So whatever they are showing on these,
I just really don't care if people know who I really am. I'm not ashamed of anything I do. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what my parents created, and I'm, I don't care if they know who I am. I'm here to let you know who I am. People know what it is. Yo, big shout out to everybody that sees this, that knows me from Grover Cleveland, from Ridgewood, from Bushwick, from Bed-Stuy. You know what it is, man. You know what it is. This is Johnny's son here. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to anybody that watches this that I know that I got love for. You know what I'm saying? It's real shit. Like I said, I be a little, I be easy a little bit when I'm on this. You know what I'm saying? I don't I respect the channel because, like I said, they'll, if I'm too explicit, they'll get upset, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like work.
TVs, these manufacturers are taking screenshots of.
But just mind you too that the reason I don't do certain things is not because I'm ashamed, is because they'll get upset, and they get upset over things they shouldn't get upset over. It's where people should be able to tell the truth, but it's to the point where you got to be careful even when you tell the truth. Thank God that we're in America and still the freedoms exist of the Constitution. It seems like they're trying to take that from us. Don't let them. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them. And they shouldn't have a problem with people saying that. That's why a big shout out to Auditing America and all them other auditing channels.
Like, it's bad enough these non-smart products are spying on us and invading our privacy, but people are literally upgrading the spy technology and putting it inside their homes. Can anybody give me the purpose behind a smart fridge? All I do is put food inside the refrigerator so it doesn't go bad. Yet when it comes to these smart fridges, you put food inside it, scan your food, and give you recipe suggestions based on what you already have, so you can save time and reduce waste.
Yo, be careful with this even the whole content creator, Facebook, Instagram, you can get caught in a loop. So be careful, man. Eventually you got to realize, like, you'll get sucked into the internet if you let yourself.
Basically, they're counting your carbon like they're doing in other countries. You only have 8 points for a sandwich. You eat that sandwich, it goes against your daily allowance, which doesn't include gas and other things. So that's all it does. It's an easier way to track and control. So yeah, why would I want a product that's constantly taking screenshots of things that I'm putting on the TV screen outside of what I'm watching on TV? But moving on, a lot of people are talking about what Trump had posted on his Truth Social on Christmas. He went on to say, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleazebags who loved Jeffrey, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog when things got too hot, falsely claiming they had nothing to do with him, didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame him, of course, President Donald J. Trump, who was actually the only one who dropped him, and long before it became fashionable to do so." When did he start talking in the third person? I've noticed he's been doing this more and more. For example, when he was doing this interview about Rob Reiner.
Bah, humbug. I've got the shiny apps, I got the daily streaks, but when I try to talk, my Spanish is weak.
A number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false.
When did he start doing that? I don't remember him ever talking about himself in the third person, but Whatever. The post ends with fictitious stories having nothing to do with Trump. Again, he's referring to himself in the third person. The failing New York Times, among many others, were forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. President Donald J. Trump. That last part is wild, especially on Christmas Day, but I do strongly feel like something big is going to happen in 2026. 2025 pretty much laid the groundwork, the framework with all this data surveillance, the AI, and so forth. And now it's all going to come to a head in 2026. And basically, they have pretty much shown us that on the 2026 World Ahead magazine cover, the Economist magazine cover. I had already done a breakdown on this cover, and just by taking a look at it, it looks like the world is on fire. You can see drones everywhere, but more importantly, you can see what looks.
That picture is wild. Like, there's a lot of predictions in that picture. If you look, like, you know, if you study it, you know, you're gonna have to also like look it up, because you know some stuff won't pop out to you, you know. But if you're really in tune with current events and everything that's going on, or if you've even like deep dive or whatever, then you'll be able to recognize certain things.
Looks like to be a cargo ship firing a missile.
Like the controller connected to the brain. That's one of the more obvious ones for me.
At the United States 250th anniversary birthday cake. This magazine cover never fails to miss its mark. The 2024 cover was very accurate to events that happened in 2024. The 2025 cover was also very telling for events that happened in 2025. So 2026 just looks like it's going to be a wild year. But what I found odd about also the Economist magazine and 2026, that for the first time in its history, and I have been looking into this for quite some time, even before having a YouTube channel, that they actually released two covers, not one. They released also this cover right here simultaneously with the other cover, the other World Ahead, and it shows two Earths, and it looks very ominous. You can see the red background. They only used the title, The World Ahead, for their magazine covers, and they used it for this one as well. But at the bottom of this, it says something very interesting. It says, this year, and they're talking about 2026, President Donald Trump has demolished long-standing norms and upended decades-old institutions at breathtaking speed. The old world order is finished, and I guess they're saying the new world order is coming in. And in 2026, the contours of what will replace it will emerge. I feel like this is a lot more ominous than the actual official cover that they released, this being the official cover. So is there something to the ending of Trump's post that has a lot of people raising their eyebrows, 2025 being the last Merry Christmas? I don't know, but I do feel like it's going to be a bumpy ride to 2030. That 2030 agenda is still in play, involving the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. Let us go ahead and see what other people are talking about. This next video comes from Moon Henry, and the fog is still relentless.
Last night, Christmas Eve, we had these strange lights, which are not electricity, by the way, popping up all over the country. And add to that, this was so many people's view this Christmas Eve. Look.
Even though I'm still not 100% a believer, it's still interesting, as you know, it's very interesting.
Look at all this fog. You really just can't see anything. Can't see anything. Not related. I wonder if there's maybe something in the sky that we cannot see. Is it Santa? So this right here is where it takes a really weird turn. Again, these blue lights are being seen all over the place behind the fog. Now, people were trying to say that the first video was just, oh, it's just the power lines and electricity. But these things show up everywhere, especially where there's no telephone. But did you see that? What? This stuff is being recorded everywhere. It's people on their phones are looking in the sky and seeing this. Now, what's the difference between this right here and our scenery right here for Christmas Eve and this picture from the 1800s? Nothing. Did you know that in the 1800s that all the pictures we have for some reason have the sky whited out? Because allegedly they had things like sky ships and other kinds of technology that don't fit in with our current mainstream way of thinking about what they had back then. Was the fog hiding Santa Claus this entire time? No, I don't think so. So completely unrelated. Let's make a metaphor. And so they
See, that's wild. Like, it makes you, those are things that make you go, but no, yeah, it makes you wonder what the hell is going on. Even if there's a logical explanation for it, you still wonder. And then if there's somebody doing it to mess with people, that's worse. Like, even if it's trolling, it's no good.
They whited out the complete skies in the 1800s like a madman fogs the sky in 2025.
News and media, they keep coming out and telling people that this fog is normal, nothing to see here. But this next video from Chaotic Concept goes to show they have been saying the same thing all throughout history, even though it wasn't.
You see this briefcase right here? Looks ordinary, right? But I'm about to show you something that could be a lifesaver. Some people are concerned that they may have to go a long period of time without power or electricity. Because, let's face it, blackouts, storms, even rolling.
And the more you look into it, the more it seems like maybe these things just didn't end. It's almost obvious that there is no facts in this video and it's for entertainment value only. Check this out. In the early 1950s, in the midst of the experiments for the Manhattan Project, they went across the country and secretly sprayed different neighborhoods. One of these neighborhoods specifically was a predominantly black neighborhood in St. Louis. They described it as a thick fog that the kids used to run through to entertain themselves.
Now to a News Nation exclusive investigation into a secret government experiment that was carried out in St. Louis. Residents tell us they still remember a mysterious fog. Children would run through it. Mothers would try and close their windows against it. For decades, they all had questions, and now we're seeking answers. The United States Army now admits that it sprayed a chemical that contained cadmium, a known carcinogen, on a neighborhood of more than 10,000 people.
And like I said, they did this kind of thing across the United States. And when people asked any questions, they released a statement saying, "Don't worry, this fog has far below dangerous levels of anything that can hurt you." Now let's go to our present day. I'm sure anything that looks similar to this whole thing is just a coincidence, right? My last video, I told you the US Navy found a leak of plutonium in a shipyard. They found it in November of last year and didn't tell anybody till recently. And it's not just in San Francisco Bay, but we also got this mysterious radioactive anomaly under the Pacific Ocean.
You notice how much he says alleged. If this is true, because I got to say it like that. If this is true, like, you see what it is, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, if it's true, if it's true, it's horrible.
Ocean as well. But anyway, San Francisco, big radiation leak. Nobody did anything about it for a year. And now we currently got this going on, which I'm sure has nothing to do with it.
We were seeing the thickest fog out of the entire state across the Bay Area early this morning. So I kind of wanted to just take a step back. First of all, explain why fog forms and the types of fog that we're seeing. Again, early this morning, as you can tell, the Bay Area, definitely the most widespread, the thickest of the fog. This is our view literally from space. So yeah, the fog was so thick that you can see it from space.
So thick you can see it from space. A 400-mile long blanket of something they're calling radiation fog. I'm sure that's just a coincidence though, right? But you know what? I'm probably reaching with this whole thing. I mean, it's not like they haven't already done something like this before. Y'all stay safe.
So yeah, every time they tell us nothing's wrong, everything's fine, it's normal, and then years later, they'll tell us what they told us was normal was actually poison.
All right, man. Big shout out to Minutes of Horror. Like I said, man, a lot of that stuff is wild, very interesting. And then the whole thing is like some of the stuff, where is it coming from? Having a little technical difficulties today. But yeah, we're gonna head to the next segment. And that's the one about Draymond Green wilding out. Like, you know what it is? He's just not a prolific scorer. So once you start to get old, it's gonna be hard to just rely on rebounds and and assists, especially when you're undersized. You know what I'm saying? So let me pull up the video real quick. Yeah, man, Draymond's undersized, man. He's getting older. He was a good player, a great player. Those 4 rings didn't come, from nothing. You know what I'm saying? And he was like the 3rd or 4th option. He was like the 4th option. But, you know, about people wanting him on the roster, I don't know if that's going to be the case. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't knock somebody picking him up. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop this for a second. Yeah, the camera, my main camera's acting up. So that's why you see things are a little different today. You know what I'm saying? So let me bring up the video. You know what it is? Draymond Green's always starting some trouble. He's always getting in a fight. You know what it is? Like, you can't always bother people. You're always saying some stuff, even if you back it up. Like, it don't matter if you with it or not. That's whack. You know what I'm saying? You could see Draymond Green is not my favorite player. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you notice something was a little off during the live, it's because the camera's acting up. And my other camera is decent, but it's not as good as the other camera. I'd rather just use my avatar for this go around, and next time I'll make sure the camera's right. So yeah, and the avatar is fine anyway. So, but Draymond Green is a trip, and like I said, I don't be hating on people. I don't even use the word hate in a sentence. That's a fact. Like, when people when I would literally say a curse word before I say the word hate. If I go to say, yo, I hate such and such a person, I stop myself. That's just how I've been raised. You know what I'm saying? It's real. I don't want to say that. And what's crazy? People would be like, you talking like, like you perfect or something. No. I just know hate is really, really bad. Really bad. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. All right, Draymond. This is a short one. Like I said, Draymond, look, if Draymond's going to try to make it further in the NBA, he got to at least start relaxing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say behaving, because he got to be himself. But, you got to take it easy, homie. Spend that energy on the court instead of you screaming louder than your game.
During a timeout, Draymond Green got into a heated argument with Steve Kerr. There was a lot going on, so let's break it down. With a few minutes into the second half, Draymond was frustrated with the officiating. He thought the Warriors weren't getting any calls, and turnovers started to pile up. Curry threw the ball out of bounds after Draymond didn't roll, and then Draymond passed it to the opposing team. A clear path foul was called, and Draymond was pissed. He went directly to the officials and let them know. Kerr tried to get Draymond to move on, but he didn't listen. He shook his head in disappointment as the Magic scored another bucket in the paint. Kerr called a timeout, and Draymond kept talking to the referees. Pat Spencer tried to hold him back, but Draymond wasn't having it. During the timeout, Kerr called him out for his lack of effort. Draymond was already amped up, so he said, Kerr knew where this was heading, so he stood up for himself. He said, "Hey Draymond, if you don't want me to talk to you, then go home." Moses Moody tried to cool Draymond off, saying, "Come on, man. Come on, Dre." He kept repeating the same thing as Kerr tried to talk to him one last time. He said, "How am I supposed to coach you, Dre? I told you." Draymond was trying to control himself, but once Kerr told him he wouldn't play again, he had enough.
You've been with Steve Kerr for such a long time. Y'all got 4 rings together. Like, if that means anything to you, just relax, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we already know that you're a loudmouth, that you don't, you know, back down or whatever you're trying to prove. So, just on the strength of respecting Steve Kerr, like you could see he really wants you to calm down. You know, the announce big shout out to Legends Basketball too. Definitely hit him with a subscription. Let me make sure that I like the video. You know, there you go right there. Let me full screen again. And yeah, but you know, Draymond just gotta chill out. You know what I'm saying? The announcer's gonna the commentator's gonna say that Steph Curry cried one time because Draymond was acting up. Like, you know, that's gotta be real frustration. You know, a dude like Steph Curry ain't gonna end up tearing up because Draymond, you know, it's not that deep. Like, you know, Steph didn't cry for something that wasn't that deep. Is because Draymond be going to the point where people can't take it, especially you know, his teammates for a long time, like Steph.
Draymond stood up and walked away from the huddle as Kerr said, "Okay, all right, all right." Draymond went directly to the locker room and Kerr quickly took a sip of his water after all that yelling. The Warriors went on a crazy run after this as Curry led the way with 26 points. As the fourth quarter began, Draymond came back to the bench in street clothes. The Warriors came out with the win and Kerr explained the situation.
Yeah, we got into it obviously, and I took the time out just because I thought we lost our focus there a little bit, and he made his decision to go back to the locker room to cool off, and that's all.
Yeah, Steve Kerr's a good coach, man. You can't win 4 rings with a coach that's not good.
I'm gonna say about it.
Would you have gone back to him?
No, he wasn't going back.
That's how bad things got, and Draymond also gave his input.
Temper spilled over, and I just thought it was best that I got.
You know, his personality is to not behave, but like I said, I don't want a person to not be themselves. I don't want a person to be uncomfortable in their own skin. But at a certain point, you got to realize that people ain't messing with you. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of how you get down. Now, if you don't care, you know, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, like I said, throughout my life, I want to keep correcting myself. I want to keep getting better. Every time I see a way where I could cut something out or actually do something to make myself better, I'm going to do it. You know, and we're not talking about finances. You know, not everything is about money. And not only that, people don't know, you know, people don't know me like that. So I wouldn't even talk about that.
I don't think there was a situation where it was going to get better.
What caused the argument?
Basketball. People lose their emotions. Sometimes it happens. It is what it is. You with people for a long time. There's a level of comfort, and shit happens. We move forward.
In the end, the Warriors are still in the playoff race and there has been no disciplinary action taken yet. Now, when you break this down even further, this outburst couldn't have come at a worse time. Draymond's son had just turned 9 years old and he was in attendance for this game. He had to watch Draymond leave because of his temper, which wasn't ideal. In fact, this is the second straight game where Draymond left early. In a game against the Suns, Draymond was ejected for this play right here. He disagreed with the call, saying this to the referees.
You know what it is too? He talks like he's Jordan. Like he talks like like he just finished knocking down 8 3-pointers.
In other words, Draymond has been losing control of his emotions. He's been more animated than usual this season, with the Warriors underperforming. And that pretty much concludes the
Yo, Victor Wembanyama's that dude.
video. What do you guys think of this incident? Do you think the Warriors should move on from Draymond? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope
Yo, yeah, man, in the comment section, let me know if you guys think if Draymond's going to get picked up by another team, if somebody's going to really want him like that, or you think it's going to be where he fades away, you know. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't really call it. I never really thought of him as one of the best players, but he was doing something right. He was doing something right. There's no way you're gonna stay on a team like the Warriors while they're winning 4 rings, and he was on the court throughout all them playoffs. Throughout every game, he was on the floor. When it was at its craziest, you know, the end, fourth quarter, final seconds, overtime, he was there throughout all of it. So you got to give Draymond his props. But like I said, just if in the comment section, let me know if you think Draymond is going to fade off or if he'll actually have some sort of significance with another team. All right, guys, I'm about to go to the last topic, and that's the NBA season up till now. Sorry about the technical difficulties. That's what was happening at the beginning of the show. I was hoping the camera wouldn't drop, but it's all good. Stuff happens. It's the first time it's done it to me. It's the first time it's done it to me. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a second, see if I could just get it popping real quick. You know, it's easy to fix, but, you know, if you're actively doing a live, you don't want to really be interrupted. But it's not that deep. You know what I mean? Not mean, Jelly Bean. All right, let's see what the verdict is. See, that's the other camera. I don't like the other camera. All right, there we go. All right, give me 1 more second, people. I'm going to do one more thing. It's going to be the last segment anyway. It's going to be the NBA for up until 31 games. So, it's not a big thing. It's not a big thing, chicken wing. All right. Let's see what's going on. I think we got it. La da dee da da da, la da dee da da da. Yeah, the camera's acting up. All right. So we're gonna get into the NBA. This is probably my favorite part of the whole segment. Out of everything I do, I don't even need the ESPN season leaders. I could do this off the top of the head. Let me get my cards. We're gonna chill for this segment because I've been stressing out the whole segment that the camera was gonna die, and when it finally did, it wasn't even that serious. You know what I'm saying? My apologies for the camera, the technical difficulties, you know, what I was going to say. And I was feeling a little off too. All right. Take a look at some of the cards real quick. All right, people. Change it to this screen. Since we're going to be talking about the NBA, I'm going to pull out the card. You know what it is. Yeah. Look, Jalen Brunson, that's his rookie card, too. You know, that's a silver one, too. If you could see the prism sign, let me see. Oh, yeah, it's right there in the top. Right there. There it goes. See how it says prism? That lets you know that it's some sort of parallel. I wish you could see it better, but That's gonna have to do for now. But yeah, man, I didn't think this card was gonna become what it was. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't playing like a superstar at the beginning. You know, speaking of Jalen Brunson, let's find out where he is right now, where he's ranked. Let me pull up the leaders. Share screen. All right, guys, let's talk about the NBA. Let's talk about Nikola Jokic. Yo, he's unbelievable. That is so insane. Look at those stats. Let me change the camera angle. There you go. Now you guys can really see it. Look at Nikola Jokic, man. That's insane. Nikola Jokic right now, after 30 games, first of all, he hasn't missed any games. I think he might have missed one game for rest. That's insane. So check it out, right? 29.8 points per game. I'm trying to highlight for you guys. 29.8 points per game, right? He has 3.6 turnovers per game, but what do you expect from a guy who always has the ball in his hands? You know, Jamal Murray is another person who, and you know what? Jamal Murray is having a great year. 16th in the world right now, Jamal Murray. You know, they got a shot at, I was going to say they got a shot. They got a shot at winning it this year. You know, like seriously, this is what I've been waiting for. Regarding the Nuggets, you know, the Knicks is my favorite team, you know, ever. You know, along with like the Mets, the Brooklyn Nets, even the Yankees, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a New York dude. People are gonna be like, the Mets and the Yankees, yeah. You know, it used to not be like that. I'm really a Mets fan at heart, I guess people would say, but I root for New York. So, but anyway, 25.4 points per game for Jamal Murray. That's insane. To go with, how do they average 55 points a game between the two of them? That's bizarre. What's crazy is look at Austin Reeves, 26, and Luka, 33. That's 59 points per game. More, 60. Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic average 60 points per game. That's crazy. Yeah, that's his stats right there. Austin Reeves, 26.6 points per game. So now we're just going to get into basketball, period. Look at Luka Doncic, man. You know, 33.7 points per game. He came down a little bit. He was holding 35 for a second. You know, hopefully he could bring it back up. That would be nice. He already got a scoring title. If he wins the scoring title this year, it'll be his second scoring title. Scoring titles are no joke. You know, so like scoring titles are just, they're insane. So we got Nikola number 1, Luka Doncic number 2, SGA at number 3. You know what I'm saying? SGA is that dude, you know. And let me fix the screen real quick. There's got to be there you go. That's better. So at the 30-game checkpoint, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's averaging 32 points per game. He's the closest person to Luka Doncic, I believe. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, 28.9 points per game. Tyrese Maxey's number 5 with 31 points per game. Jalen Johnson's 6th in the world, guys. You know, Cade Cunningham's number 7, Donovan Mitchell's number 8, Victor Wembanyama's number 9, Jaylen Brown's number 10, Jalen Brunson's number 11 right now. Damn, Jalen Brunson's 11th in the world, 29.3 points per game. 84% from the free throw line, 47% from the field, and he's a gunning 6-footer. He's a gunning 6-footer. He's a 6-foot person who guns. Like, he shoots from everywhere, you know. And he's a little shorter than no, matter of fact, I think Jalen Brunson. Let's see. Jalen Brunson is 6'2". He's same height as Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry got him by an inch. So look at Alperen Sengun, number 13. James Harden, 26 points per game for James Harden, 22 points per game for Alperen Sengun. He makes up for it on the rebounds and the assist tip and the field goal percentage. First of all, Nikola Jokic is shooting 60% from the field while performing that amazing triple-double. That's insane. Listen, guys, you know, I'm going to get out of here. I got to let you guys go. Anthony Edwards, 14th in the world right now, averaging 29 points per game. He's killing it. Austin Reeves, 15th in the world. You know, he dropped, but you got to expect that because he was running the team. He's averaging 30. You know, when Luka wasn't there, Austin Reeves was going in. Denny Avdija has emerged. You know, we'll talk about the emergent players real quick. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, but, you know, some of them were playing good before, but still, these are the young guns. Jalen Johnson, it's amazing that he's 6th in the world. Donovan Mitchell, you know, he's been there for a while. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, Alperen Sengun, Austin Reeves, Denny Avdija, Josh Giddey, Lauri Markkanen, Michael Porter Jr. You know, we'll leave it at that for now. I got to go, people, man. Much love to everybody out there. It's your boy Spank Dog 1.